Hey everybody, it's Candace and welcome to Ambition, Honey, and Hustle. All right, so today I have got a awesome guest on. You talk about life-changing, talking about helping people through transformations and having an impact. Whoa. So wait till you get a chance to hear the guest that's up today, Gabrielle Hartley. Gabrielle, she's the founder of Better Apart Divorce Coaching, Co-Parenting, and Mediation Services. And her new book, Better Apart, The Radically Positive Way to Separate, published by HarperCollins. It's the first book of its kind to combine the life-changing, healing wisdom of mindfulness, meditation, and yoga with practical advice and legal wisdom, all to get the reader through and beyond divorce. Better Apart was named the Conscious Uncoupling How-To by People magazine. She's also been featured throughout media channels, including the New York Times, the New York Post, Yoga Journal, and Mind Body Green. Wait until you hear this conversation with Gabrielle and I. I promise you, you will leave with something that makes you get up and do something different. Let's get to it right after the theme song. So the big question is this: how do we ambitious professionals avoid the slow-moving career, take control of our time, and get paid for two things: doing what excites us and making an impact bigger than anyone ever thought was possible? That is the question, and this podcast has the answers. My name is Candace Spears, and welcome to Ambition, Honey, and Hustle. Hi, Gabrielle. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me here, Candace.
All right. So coach, mediator, author, speaker, attorney. Wow. So tell me about the story of how you've gotten to this point in your career.
So, how I got to this point. Well, I'll give you a little background. I grew up with parents who divorced in the 70s or early 80s, and they did it really well. My brother and I changed houses between my two parents in a sort of shared parenting environment. And my friends' parents were like often commenting on how weird it was, how well they got along, and how, oh, I had such an unstable household, but it really wasn't unstable. It was just like not mom keeping the kids full time and dad getting the kids on the weekend. Anyway, my parents were sort of like super proud of how they were. And I found it like kind of annoying because I didn't think that they were actually as great as they were, because it wasn't always smooth sailing. Anyhow, so fast forward, I go to law school. I take family law pass fail because I'm like, I am so done with divorce, the whole topic of divorce. This is like, somebody else's life. And then I find myself a few years later clerking for a divorce court judge who is now, his name is Jeff Sunshine. It's a great name for a divorce court judge. Right? He's the chief administrative judge for all the matrimonial cases in New York State. Anyway, when I worked for him, I helped to resolve nearly 1,000 trial-ready cases, and I saw like up close and personal how terribly people treat each other, how the system unfortunately often encourages and creates a lot of havoc and drama for people. And it always really troubled me. And I started to think like my parents actually had a lot of things right. Because, we're also critical, right, of our own families.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
So then I got married, I moved away, I opened a law practice, and over and over, now practicing law and working as a mediator with lawyers involved, I saw how unnecessarily contentious things became. I felt how full of shame my clients felt, similarly to like how I felt as a kid, by the way the world was sort of interacting with me. And I just for years have had this really strong sense of, I wish I could get everyone in a room and just say, you're okay. Like, just because this didn't work out doesn't mean you're a failure. It's not even necessarily a failure. It's a reconstruction. It's not what we imagined it would be, but it's not a broken family. It's a remade, reblended family. And it's a beginning, not an ending. And especially for children. So I know this, sorry, it's such a long-winded reply, but essentially I wanted to, from my place, from my personal experience and my professional experience, have a voice to give people permission to move forward feeling uplifted and knowing that they are going to be okay, and helping them to find internal power to feel strong through and beyond the separation, breakup, or divorce process.
Wow, that is what a strong just sort of mission that you've got behind you. I mean, and thinking about missions, thinking about impact. When you and I talked a little bit earlier, I talk all the time about people really understanding their ultimate impact statement and letting that drive their actions, their career choices, and it feels like you're doing that very thing. And the statement for our listeners is, it's really just, I want to impact the lives of, insert your target audience, by giving them, insert what you have to offer so that they can insert their transformation. So how would you say what your ultimate impact statement is?
So ask me again, the question. So I want to impact the lives of people who are going through separation and divorce. And I want to impact their story and help them to change their internal narrative so that they feel better, their lives are better, their legacy, because how we feel by definition impacts how our children feel. Mm-hmm. So if they can interrupt the negative story that is looping in their mind in a meaningful, true way, not just, well, I don't care about him/her, but right. Like really start reframing how they think and re-narrating what they're telling themselves. I want to impact them so that they can impact their children, and so that we can feel better and be better on a more global level. Because we can only, I say to my kids often, who are you? Because you know how we're all so much a conglomeration of what our parents tell us, what our friends tell us, what society tells us. And really it's like unlearning all that we've learned. And when you're at this really painful, difficult crossroads, such as a death or a divorce, that really stretches us. We need to tap more into our own internal knowing, and that's the only thing that's going to get us to move forward. Wow,
that is very powerful, thinking about unlearning what you've learned and reframing your thinking. And wow, so tell me, Gabrielle, about the steps that helped you get from working as an attorney to founding your company and making the...
I don't know the steps. Are there steps? I'm very kind of fluid in how I do things. It all started with my book. So it didn't start with my book. It started with me just writing. I was just writing constantly, article after article, and I wasn't doing anything with the articles. They were just in my computer, and I was up half the night, half the time writing. And my husband was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Writing." And he's like, "For what?" And I was like, "Mind your own business." So I wrote all these articles, but then I just felt like, I could put these articles out there, and then they're just gonna, just be a flash in the pan. And I really wanted to do something in a cohesive way that was going to really impactfully change the conversation. And so I got an agent, and I make that and I got an agent, as if that was no big deal, because if you want to feel really bad about yourself, you try to tell New York City agents, book agents, literary agents, that you want to combine yoga, meditation, and divorce, right? And get a lot of so anyway, I got an agent. I got a book deal with HarperCollins, which I'm forever grateful for Jen Marshall and Karen Rinaldi. And I partnered with Elena Brower, who I went to college with, who's a world-renowned yoga meditation guru. So she puts in a lot of really wonderful things into the book. And so the book basically took on a life of its own. People magazine named it the Conscious Uncoupling How-To Book, and Gwyneth Paltrow endorsed it, et cetera. And the New York Post compared it to Marie Kondo's Tidying Up, which was a really big compliment to me, because I love Marie Kondo's Tidying Up. I could use some of that.
Likewise.
So then, I started to really start communicating in the social media world, and I met some unbelievable people. I met Michael Daniels, who founded FAIR, which is this incredible co-parenting application, which is ahead of its time. And if any of your listeners, I don't know if your listeners, if anyone is experiencing divorce and looking for a good way to co-parent, it's FAYR. And so he's someone who made a global impact. He'd been a home builder, and then he had a bad divorce, whatever. And he created this thing to help himself, which is helping other people. Anyway, I just met so many different interesting people. And then I started this thing together with the founders of Breaking Free Divorce Mediation, their podcast. I started the Best You Ever Divorce Retreats, and just a lot of magic has happened in my world, and I'm hoping to continue to bring it forward.
Did you ever expect all the things that you're experiencing now?
That's like a funny question, because somebody just asked me. I got a coffee this morning before I came on your show, and the woman who gave me coffee said, "Oh, I've seen you here." She said, "How does it feel?" And I said, it doesn't really feel like anything yet. Like, it feels like, I don't know, like it's like an A- or a B+, but I'm not really killing it all the way, like the way I have it in my mind. So I don't know. I guess I expect this. I'm incredibly impatient. You mentioned the steps in my book and in my program. And the first step is patience. And I think I start with patience because I've got none.
Sounds like me, Gabrielle. You're not alone.
Yeah. Well, I know. Chapter 1, right? People need that. Patience and forgiveness. Those are the hardest, I think.
Cool. So I was, as we were talking, and I was looking through and checking out your Instagram feed, and I see one of these pictures actually a few different pictures, where there's some folks that have got your book in their hands. Just tell me, how did it feel when you first saw your Better Apart book in someone else's hand? Like, this is your impact, your story, and someone else now has that. How did that feel?
It feels amazing. Like, I think the first rush for me is I walked into, I went to high school on Staten Island, and I went into the Barnes & Noble on the Staten Island Mall. And gosh, the way it's situated, I can't hold it up to show you, but I guess your viewers, your listeners can hear. There was a big sign in the Barnes & Noble window with the book. And yeah, that was really cool. It had the book and my face, and like all these people who I hadn't seen in 100 years came out. And then what was even cooler is on social media, people who I don't even know were bringing the book to groups in their towns and in their, so that's been amazing. And people sharing it with their therapists, and then their therapists writing me notes, because I'm not a mental health professional. So when I get a letter from a clinical psychologist telling me how impactful my book is, that's like amazing. I'm sort of like super nerdy, so that means like a lot to me.
I bet that means a lot, like really a lot. So tell me, Gabrielle, if the you from, let's say, 20 years ago.
Oh gosh, wait, let me think about, where was I? Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, got that visual. So
yeah.
From 20 years ago, could see the you today, what would she think?
I think, so 20 years ago, I think, well, because I'm impatient, she'd think I took too long to get here.
But she should have been here already.
But to be honest, I feel like I'm on the right path. Like, I think she would be glad that I finally tapped into my own internal voice, which is what I'm helping other people do, right? We teach what we need to learn, right? We're the best teachers. That is such an important thing to remember. Your greatest struggle, as you overcome it, you're the most powerful person to show others how to. That's why, like, my friend who says she was a truant all through high school, she's the principal of a vocational high school, and she gets the kids and they get her, or, just whatever. And if you think about people in your life and their jobs and who they were, it's right. Amazing. Yeah. And I sort of, I silenced myself a lot in a lot of contexts. I know that might be hard to imagine because I'm like,
it can happen.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think I spent a lot of my life looking on the outside instead of looking on the inside, and like really doing what I felt in my mind I should be doing. I was only like halfway living. So I think the 20-year younger version of me would be glad that I'm finally living.
Awesome. So tell me, I'm very, very interested, and I love hearing the answers to this question.
Oh gosh.
What's what's a topic that you are incredibly interested in, but no one ever asked you about?
A topic that I'm incredibly interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, something that I'm really interested in that nobody asks me about and is not really relevant to what I do is I'm really interested in like prison reform.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I often say, had my parents not gotten divorced, what would I do? And I think, there's a lot. I know this is like so weirdly off topic, but the whole idea of mandatory sentencing for nonviolent crimes is something that really, it really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that nobody ever asks me about. About the topic, I'll tell you, on topic with breaking up and divorce, there's not much that people haven't asked. Like really, people, I remember I've been doing this for 25 years. I've heard it all. So,
boy.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. So, Gabrielle, I understand that you've got this Better Apart, Optimized Living Masterclass. It sounds super exciting. Tell us a little bit about it and where listeners can learn a little bit more.
Sure. So if you head over to GabrielleHartley.com, which is my business website, you can sign up where it says, I think, like 5 steps to a peaceful divorce or something like that. And just head over there and log in. And when it is launching, you'll be the first to know. And it's going to be pretty soon. So what the program does is it takes the person through the Better Apart process on their own pace. It's intended to be a 6-week program. There are 2 videos each week, and each video is followed up with a really nice, well-curated, thought-provoking passage or topic coupled with a little assignment. And so it's a really nice complement to the book, or even if you don't want to buy the book, if you just want to like hop on and get the program, you don't really need the book, except they're intended to work together. And the idea is to give the participant the tools that they need to go forward on their own. Like, because once you arm yourself, that's why even though you could do it all in one day, the whole idea is to establish a habit. So there's mindfulness practices, there are mantras, there's thought-provoking bits, there's a meditation in there that's really awesome. Even I slow down for it and I'm like, turbocharged. So yeah, it's really nice. We're really excited about it.
Cool. Well, everybody, you have got an awesome opportunity to jump more into Gabrielle's world. You heard you can go and visit her at GabrielleHartley.com and check out some of the awesome things that she's doing, and probably even pick up something for yourself. Because I'm telling you right now, Gabrielle, I'm thinking about this meditation and mindfulness stuff that I could absolutely use.
We all can. We can all, especially when we have lots of children in our homes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
So, Gabrielle, thank you so much for being on today. Really, really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. That was so much fun. You asked such awesome questions.
All right. Thanks, Gabrielle.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whenever you're listening. Bye-bye. If we're not already, let's get connected. I tend to hang out on Instagram, and you can follow me at Candace Spears. If you follow me, drop me a DM and let me know that you're listening on the podcast. I've got some really awesome goodies for you. And right now I've got the From Boredom to Career Fulfillment in 3-month video guide. So that might be of interest to you. Either way, I look forward to connecting with you very, very soon.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.